I tell you with complete assurance that the universe in which you live is not something outside of yourself. It is not a vast expanse of space and matter existing independently of your consciousness. The universe is your consciousness externalized. It is your imagination made visible. It is the outer picture of your inner assumptions. And the sooner you realize this tremendous truth, the sooner you shall master the art of deliberate creation. Now let us begin with the first principle, relaxation. Most of you are familiar with the biblical passage, "Be still, and know that I am God." This stillness, this divine relaxation is not idleness. It is not laziness. It is the most profound activity of which man is capable. For in this stillness, in this complete relaxation of your conscious mind, you allow the divine power within you to express itself without interference. When I speak of relaxation, I am speaking of a mental attitude rather than a physical state. Though physical relaxation often accompanies mental relaxation, it is the mental state that concerns us here. Mental relaxation is the absence of resistance. It is the cessation of struggle. It is the complete surrender to your divine self, the God within you. In your daily life, observe how often you are in a state of resistance. Notice how frequently you push against what is, how constantly you struggle against circumstances, how persistently you fight against conditions. This resistance, this struggle, this fight, these are the very forces that keep your desires from materializing in your world. When you resist a condition, you give it power. When you struggle against a circumstance, you energize it. When you fight against a situation, you sustain it. The very act of resistance keeps the unwanted condition alive in your experience. For whatever you resist persists. Instead, I urge you to cultivate the divine art of relaxation. Learn to be still. Learn to quiet your conscious mind. Learn to silence the incessant chatter of your surface thoughts. For it is in this stillness, in this divine quietude, that the power of God within you can express itself without hindrance. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. This is the perfect example of divine relaxation. The lily does not struggle to become a lily. It does not fight to express its beauty. It does not resist its environment. It simply allows the divine life force within it to express itself naturally, effortlessly, perfectly. You too can express your divinity with the same natural ease, the same effortless perfection, if you will but learn the art of divine relaxation. For in relaxation, in the absence of resistance, in the cessation of struggle, you allow the God within you to express itself without interference. Now, how do you achieve this state of divine relaxation? First, you must recognize that all power resides within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The creative power of the universe is not something outside of yourself. It is your own wonderful human imagination. And this imagination, this divine creative faculty, works best when your conscious mind is relaxed. So begin by finding a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably. Close your eyes. Take several deep breaths, inhaling slowly and exhaling completely. Feel the tension leaving your body with each exhalation. Allow your muscles to relax. Let go of all physical discomfort. Feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed with each breath. Now turn your attention to your thoughts. Notice the incessant chatter of your conscious mind. Do not attempt to silence this chatter forcibly. Simply observe it without judgment. Watch your thoughts as they arise and pass away. Do not engage with them. Do not analyze them. Do not resist them. Simply observe them with detached awareness. As you continue this practice, you will notice that the gaps between your thoughts begin to widen. The chatter of your conscious mind begins to subside. A profound stillness begins to envelop you. This is the beginning of divine relaxation. This is the doorway to the kingdom within. In this state of relaxation, your subconscious mind becomes receptive to the seeds of your desires. For it is your subconscious mind that is the creative power, the God within you. Your conscious mind merely plants the seed, but it is your subconscious mind that causes it to grow and bear fruit. And your subconscious mind accepts most readily those ideas that are presented to it in a state of relaxation. When your conscious mind is busy, when it is filled with the noise of resistance and struggle, the seeds of your desires cannot penetrate to the fertile soil of your subconscious. But in relaxation, in the silence of your conscious mind, the seeds of your desires find easy entry to the creative soil of your subconscious. So relax, be still. Know that the I am within you is God. Trust in this divine power. Allow it to express itself without interference. For in relaxation, in the absence of resistance, in the stillness of your conscious mind, the God within you works its wonders. Let us now move to the second principle, trusting the process. Trust is faith in action. It is the practical application of your belief in the divine power within you. It is the lived expression of your confidence in the creative process of manifestation. Most of you understand intellectually that your consciousness creates your reality. You know theoretically that your imagination is the creative power of God within you. You comprehend conceptually that your assumptions persisted in become fact. But how many of you trust this process enough to live by it? How many of you have sufficient faith in the creative power of your consciousness to rely upon it completely? Trust in the process means having absolute confidence that the seeds you plant in your subconscious mind must inevitably bear fruit in your outer world. It means knowing with unshakable certainty that what you impress upon your subconscious must, by divine law, objectify itself in your experience. This trust, this absolute confidence, this unshakable certainty comes from understanding the law of identical harvest. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This is not a moral injunction. It is not a statement of divine reward or punishment. It is simply the description of an impersonal law. It is the statement of a principle that operates with mathematical precision in the realm of consciousness. Just as a seed of corn can produce only corn, just as a seed of wheat can yield only wheat, so a seed of consciousness can manifest only its identical match in your outer world. If you plant a seed of lack in your consciousness, you will reap lack in your experience. If you sow a seed of failure in your mind, you will harvest failure in your life. If you impress poverty upon your subconscious, poverty will express itself in your circumstances. Conversely, if you plant a seed of abundance in your consciousness, you will reap abundance in your experience. If you sow a seed of success in your mind, you will harvest success in your life. If you impress wealth upon your subconscious, wealth will express itself in your circumstances. This is the law. This is the process. And it operates with unfailing precision, with mathematical exactitude, with scientific certainty. Your consciousness is the one and only creative power in your universe. And what you assume, what you accept, what you believe, what you feel to be true, this is what must manifest in your world. So trust the process. Have absolute confidence in the creative power of your consciousness. Know with unshakable certainty that what you impress upon your subconscious must, by divine law, objectify itself in your experience. Now, how do you develop this trust? How do you cultivate this confidence? How do you establish this certainty? Through experience, through personal verification, through direct knowledge. You must prove the law in your own life. You must test the principle in your own experience. You must validate the process in your own consciousness. Begin with small things. Assume a state of consciousness that implies the fulfillment of a minor desire. Persist in this assumption until it feels natural to you. Then watch how circumstances rearrange themselves to conform to your assumption. Observe how events conspire to materialize your desire. Notice how your outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state. As you witness the creative power of your consciousness in these small matters, your trust in the process will grow. Your confidence in the law will increase. Your certainty of your divine creative capacity will strengthen. And as your trust, your confidence, your certainty expand, you will apply the process to increasingly significant desires. You will use the law for ever greater manifestations. You will employ your creative power for more and more magnificent expressions. Eventually, you will reach a state of complete trust in the process. You will have absolute confidence in the creative power of your consciousness. You will know with unshakable certainty that what you impress upon your subconscious must, by divine law, objectify itself in your experience. And in this state of complete trust, of absolute confidence, of unshakable certainty, you will become a conscious creator a deliberate manifester, a knowing participant in the divine process of creation. So trust the process. Have faith in the law. Be confident in your divine creative power. For in trusting the process, in having faith in the law, in being confident in your divine creative power, you align yourself with the infinite intelligence of the universe. You harmonize with the creative force of God. You unite with the divine wisdom of your higher self. Let us now consider the third principle, letting the universe deliver. This principle is perhaps the most misunderstood of the three. For many of you confuse letting the universe deliver with a passive waiting for something outside of yourself to bring you your desires. But there is no power outside of yourself. There is no intelligence beyond your consciousness. There is no universe separate from your awareness. The universe is your consciousness externalized. It is your imagination made visible. It is your assumptions objectified. So when I speak of letting the universe deliver, I am not referring to a passive waiting for some external power to manifest your desires. I am speaking of allowing your own divine creative consciousness to express itself without interference from your limited conscious mind. Your conscious mind, with its incessant chatter, its constant doubts, its persistent fears, its habitual worries, this is what obstructs the manifestation of your desires. This is what hinders the expression of your creative power. This is what delays the delivery of your manifestations. Letting the universe deliver means releasing all mental effort. It means relinquishing all conscious striving. It means surrendering all intellectual struggle. For your desires are not manifested by the effort of your conscious mind. They are brought into being by the effortless activity of your subconscious. Your subconscious mind, which is the God within you, needs no help from your conscious mind to create your reality. It knows exactly how to rearrange circumstances, how to orchestrate events, how to coordinate people and things and situations to manifest your desires in the most efficient, the most harmonious, the most perfect manner. But if your conscious mind is constantly interfering, if it's always trying to figure out how your desires will be manifested, if it is ceaselessly attempting to determine when your manifestations will appear, if it is perpetually endeavoring to identify who or what will bring your desires into being, then you are obstructing the divine creative process. You are hindering the effortless activity of your subconscious. You are delaying the manifestation of your desires. Instead, once you have planted the seed of your desire in your subconscious through the feeling of its fulfillment, once you have impressed upon your subconscious the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, once you have established within yourself the state of having already received what you desire, then let go. Release it. Surrender it to the divine creative process of your subconscious. This does not mean forgetting about your desire. It does not mean being indifferent to its manifestation. It does not mean adopting an attitude of I don't care whether it happens or not. Rather, it means resting in the absolute assurance that what you have impressed upon your subconscious must, by divine law, objectify itself in your experience. It means dwelling in the calm certainty that the seed you have planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious is even now germinating, growing, developing, and in due season will bear fruit. It means abiding in the tranquil confidence that the state of consciousness you have assumed is even now rearranging your outer world to conform to its nature. In practical terms, letting the universe deliver means going about your daily activities without anxiety, without worry, without doubt concerning the manifestation of your desire. It means living from the state of consciousness that implies the fulfillment of your desire is already an accomplished fact. It means feeling the feeling of your wish fulfilled in the now moment, regardless of appearances to the contrary in your outer world. For remember, your outer world is nothing more than the reflection of your inner state of consciousness. It is the shadow cast by your assumptions. It is the effect of which your consciousness is the cause. And just as a shadow cannot help but conform to the object that casts it, just as an effect cannot fail to express the nature of its cause, so your outer world cannot but reflect the state of your consciousness. So, let the universe deliver. Release all mental effort. Relinquish all conscious striving. Surrender all intellectual struggle. Rest in the absolute assurance that what you have impressed upon your subconscious must by divine law objectify itself in your experience. Dwell in the calm certainty that the seed you have planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious is even now germinating, growing, developing, and in due season will bear fruit. Abide in the tranquil confidence that the state of consciousness you have assumed is even now rearranging your outer world to conform to its nature. Now, having outlined the three principles, relaxation, trusting the process, and letting the universe deliver, let us delve deeper into their practical application in your daily life. The practice of these principles is not confined to specific meditation sessions or visualization exercises, although these can be valuable. Rather, these principles are to be integrated into your very way of being, your fundamental approach to life, your basic orientation toward existence. Begin by cultivating the habit of mental relaxation throughout your day. Whenever you notice yourself becoming tense, whenever you find yourself resisting what is, whenever you catch yourself struggling against circumstances, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that resistance only gives power to the unwanted condition. Remember that struggle only energizes the undesired circumstance. Recognize that fight only sustains the unwelcome situation. Then consciously relax your mind. Deliberately release your resistance. Intentionally cease your struggle. Purposefully abandon your fight. Allow the divine within you, your own wonderful human imagination, to express itself without the interference of your conscious resistance. This does not mean accepting the unwanted condition as permanent. It does not mean resigning yourself to the undesired circumstance. It does not mean acquiescing to the unwelcome situation. Rather, it means recognizing that relaxation, not resistance, is the pathway to change. It means understanding that surrender, not struggle, is the doorway to transformation. It means realizing that acceptance, not fight, is the entranceway to manifestation. Next, reinforce your trust in the process throughout your day. Whenever doubt arises, whenever fear surfaces, whenever worry emerges, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that your consciousness creates your reality. Remember that your imagination is the creative power of God within you. Recognize that your assumptions persisted in become fact. Then consciously cultivate trust. Deliberately nurture faith. Intentionally develop confidence. Purposefully establish certainty. Know with unshakable assurance that what you impress upon your subconscious must, by divine law, objectify itself in your experience. Again, this does not mean blind faith in something outside of yourself. It does not mean unquestioning belief in an external power. It does not mean credulous acceptance of a separate intelligence. Rather, it means trusting in the creative power of your own consciousness. It means having faith in the divine law that operates through your own imagination. It means believing in the God within you. Finally, practice letting the universe deliver throughout your day. Whenever you find yourself trying to figure out how your desire will manifest, whenever you catch yourself attempting to determine when your manifestation will appear, whenever you notice yourself endeavoring to identify who or what will bring your desire into being, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that mental effort obstructs manifestation. Remember that conscious striving hinders creation. Recognize that intellectual struggle delays delivery. Then consciously release all mental effort. Deliberately relinquish all conscious striving. Intentionally surrender all intellectual struggle. Purposefully abandon all attempts to control the manifestation process. Rest in the absolute assurance that the divine creative process is unfolding perfectly, exactly as it should, in exactly the right way, at exactly the right time. Once more, this does not mean forgetting about your desire. It does not mean being indifferent to its manifestation. It does not mean adopting an attitude of I don't care whether it happens or not. Rather, it means dwelling in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, feeling the feeling of its accomplishment, living from the state of its realization, while releasing all concern about the how, the when, the who, and the what of its manifestation. Now let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates the power of these principles. Some years ago, I desired a particular lecture hall for a series of talks I wished to give. This hall was in great demand and was usually booked months in advance. Yet I needed it for a series beginning just 2 weeks hence. Instead of rushing about, making frantic inquiries, filling out multiple applications, and generally engaging in what the world calls practical action, I applied the principles I am sharing with you tonight. I relaxed my mind. I trusted the process. I let the universe deliver. In my imagination, I saw myself standing on the platform of that specific hall. I felt the satisfaction of addressing my audience in that particular venue. I experienced the joy of sharing these divine truths in that precise location. I dwelt in the consciousness of my wish fulfilled. I lived from the state of its accomplishment. I abided in the feeling of its realization. Then I released it. I made no phone calls. I submitted no applications. I pulled no strings. I simply went about my daily activities, dwelling in the consciousness that my desire was already fulfilled, that the hall was already secured, that the arrangements were already complete. 3 days later, I received a telephone call from the manager of the hall. He informed me that a booking for the exact dates I desired had just been cancelled, and he thought of me immediately. He asked if I would like to use the hall for those dates. Naturally, I accepted his offer with gratitude, knowing that it was not chance or coincidence that had brought this about, but the operation of divine law through my consciousness. This is but one of countless examples I could share with you of the effectiveness of these principles. And what I have done, you can do also. For the power that created this experience is not peculiar to me. It is not a special gift granted to a select few. It is divine birthright of every human being. It is the creative power of your own consciousness, your own wonderful human imagination, the God within you. Let me now address some of the common obstacles you may encounter as you begin to apply these principles and offer guidance on how to overcome them. The first obstacle is the evidence of your senses. Your physical senses show you a world that seems solid, fixed, immutable. They present you with circumstances that appear real, substantial, objective. They offer you conditions that seem independent of your consciousness, separate from your awareness, external to your being. And if you trust your senses, if you believe what they show you, if you accept as real what they present to you, then you will find it difficult to practice these principles. For your senses will contradict your imagination. Your physical vision will deny your spiritual vision. Your outer perception will oppose your inner conception. But I tell you with absolute certainty that your senses show you only the effects of past causes. They reveal to you only the results of previous states of consciousness. They display to you only the consequences of former assumptions. They do not and cannot show you the creative power of your present consciousness, the transformative force of your current imagination, the manifestation potential of your new assumptions. So, do not judge by appearances. Do not be swayed by what your senses reveal. Do not be influenced by what your physical vision shows. Instead, judge righteous judgment. See through the eye of imagination. Look with the vision of consciousness. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, and from this inner kingdom comes the power to transform your world. The second obstacle is the beliefs and opinions of others. As you begin to practice these principles, as you start to apply this divine law, as you commence to live by these spiritual truths, you may encounter resistance from those around you. Friends may question your unrealistic approach. Family may challenge your impractical methods. Colleagues may criticize your irrational techniques. And if you value their opinions, if you respect their beliefs, if you honor their judgments more than you trust your own inner knowing, then you will find it difficult to persist in these principles. For their voices will drown out the still, small voice within you. Their perspectives will obscure your inner vision. Their viewpoints will cloud your spiritual perception. But I tell you with complete assurance that no one can enter the kingdom of heaven for you. No one can experience the creative power of consciousness on your behalf. No one can know the transformative force of imagination for you. This is a journey you must take alone, a path you must walk by yourself, a realization you must come to through your own direct experience. So do not be swayed by the opinions of others. Do not be influenced by their beliefs. Do not be affected by their judgments. Instead, trust your own inner knowing. Have faith in your own spiritual perception. Be confident in your own divine intuition. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, not within others. And from your own inner kingdom comes the guidance you need to transform your world. The third obstacle is your own past experiences. As you attempt to apply these principles, as you endeavor to practice this divine law, as you strive to live by these spiritual truths, you may be hindered by memories of past failures, records of previous disappointments, recollections of former setbacks. And if you allow these past experiences to define your expectations, if you permit these previous results to shape your beliefs, if you suffer these former outcomes to determine your assumptions, then you will find it difficult to maintain faith in these principles. For your past will seem to predict your future. Your history will appear to dictate your destiny. Your former experiences will look to be the template for your coming experiences. But I tell you with utter conviction that your past has no power over your future, except that which you give it through your consciousness. Your history has no control over your destiny except that which you grant it through your imagination. Your former experiences have no authority over your coming experiences except that which you bestow upon them through your assumptions. So, do not be defined by your past experiences. Do not be limited by your history. Do not be confined by your former results. Instead, create newly from this present moment. Imagine freshly from this current point in time. Assume differently from this now. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, not within your past. And from this inner kingdom comes the power to create a new and different future. The fourth obstacle is impatience. As you begin practicing these principles, as you start applying this divine law, as you commence living by these spiritual truths, you may become anxious for results, eager for manifestations, impatient for visible evidence. And if you allow this impatience to dominate your consciousness, if you permit this anxiety to pervade your awareness, if you suffer this eagerness to infiltrate your being, then you will find it difficult to maintain the state of relaxation necessary for these principles to work effectively. For impatience is a form of resistance. Anxiety is a type of struggle. Eagerness is a kind of fight. And resistance, struggle, and fight are the very forces that obstruct manifestation. But I tell you with complete confidence that divine timing is perfect timing. God's schedule is the ideal schedule. The universe's calendar is the optimal calendar. When you have impressed your desire upon your subconscious through the feeling of its fulfillment, when you have established within yourself the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, when you have assumed the state of having already received what you desire, then the manifestation of your desire is already assured. It is already a done deal. It is already an accomplished fact in consciousness and must, by divine law, express itself in your experience at the perfect time, in the perfect way, through the perfect channels. So do not be impatient for results. Do not be anxious for manifestations. Do not be eager for visible evidence. Instead, rest in the absolute assurance that what you have impressed upon your subconscious must objectify itself in your experience. Dwell in the calm certainty that the seed you have planted is even now growing and will in due season bear fruit. Abide in the tranquil confidence that your assumed state is even now rearranging your outer world to conform to its nature. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, not in some future time. And from this inner kingdom comes the perfect timing for the manifestation of your desires. The fifth and final obstacle is doubt. As you practice these principles, as you apply this divine law, as you live by these spiritual truths, you may experience moments of uncertainty, periods of skepticism, episodes of disbelief. And this is natural. This is normal. This is to be expected. For being conditioned from childhood to believe in the reality of the external world, to accept the testimony of your senses, to trust in the evidence of your physical vision. You have been taught that hard work, practical action, and material effort are the only reliable means of achieving your goals, accomplishing your objectives, and realizing your desires. You have been indoctrinated with the belief that reality is something outside of yourself, independent of your consciousness separate from your awareness. So moments of doubt are to be expected as you transition from this materialistic worldview to the spiritual understanding that consciousness is the one and only reality, that imagination is the creative power of God within you. That assumption, though false to reason, if persisted in, will harden into fact. When these moments of doubt arise, do not fight them. Do not resist them. Do not struggle against them. For what you resist persists, what you fight you energize, what you struggle against you sustain. Instead, simply observe your doubts without judgment. Notice them without engagement. Be aware of them without attachment. Then, gently remind yourself of the times when these principles have worked in your life, the occasions when this divine law has manifested your desires, the instances when these spiritual truths have transformed your circumstances. Recall the evidence you have already accumulated of the creative power of your consciousness. Remember the proof you have already gathered of the manifestational force of your imagination. Recollect the verification you have already collected of the transformative effect of your assumptions. If you have not yet accumulated such evidence, such proof, such verification in your own experience, then recall the examples I have shared with you of how these principles have worked in my life. Remember the illustrations I have offered of how this divine law has manifested my desires. Recollect the instances I have recounted of how these spiritual truths have transformed my circumstances. Better yet, experiment with these principles for yourself. Test this divine law in your own experience. Validate these spiritual truths in your own life. Apply these principles to small, easily believable desires until you accumulate your own evidence, gather your own proof, collect your own verification. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, not in some external authority. And from this inner kingdom comes the direct experience that dissolves all doubt. Now let me address a question that may be arising in your mind. If my consciousness creates my reality, if my imagination is the creative power of God within you, if my assumption determine my experience, then why do I experience unwanted conditions? Why do I encounter undesired circumstances? Why do I face unwelcome situations? The answer is simple yet profound. You experience what you are conscious of. You encounter what you imagine. You face what you assume. And much of your consciousness, much of your imagination, much of your assumption is habitual, automatic, unconscious. From early childhood, you have been forming assumptions about yourself and your world. You have been establishing beliefs about what is possible and what is impossible, what is easy and what is difficult, what is available to you, and what is beyond your reach. You have been developing concepts about your own abilities, potentials, and limitations. You have been creating ideas about how the world works, how people behave, how life unfolds. And these assumptions, these beliefs, these concepts, these ideas, many of which were formed before you had the maturity to evaluate them critically, before you had the wisdom to assess them accurately, before you had the understanding to judge them appropriately, have become the silent, invisible, unconscious foundation of your consciousness. They are the unexamined substrate of your imagination. They are the unquestioned basis of your assumptions. And from this foundation, from this substrate, from this basis flows your experience of reality. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of, you experience. Imagination is the creative power, and what you imagine, you encounter. Assumption is the formative force, and what you assume, you face. So if you experience unwanted conditions, if you encounter undesired circumstances, if you face unwelcome situations, do not look outside yourself for the cause. Do not blame external factors. Do not fault other people. For the cause is within you, in your own consciousness, in your own imagination, in your own assumptions. This is not to make you feel guilty. This is not to assign blame. This is not to lay responsibility. This is to empower you. For if the cause of your experiences lies within your consciousness, then the power to change those experiences also lies within your consciousness. If the source of your circumstances resides in your imagination, then the ability to transform those circumstances also resides in your imagination. If the origin of your situations dwells in your assumptions, then the capacity to alter those situations also dwells in your assumptions. You are not a victim of external conditions. You are the creator of all that you experience. You are not at the mercy of outside circumstances. You are the author of all that you encounter. You are not subject to external situations. You are the originator of all that you face. This is the greatest freedom, the ultimate liberation, the consummate emancipation. For in recognizing that your consciousness creates your reality, that your imagination is the creative power, that your assumptions determine your experience, you reclaim your divine birthright as a creator, as a manifestor, as a shaper of reality. So if you wish to change your experience, change your consciousness. If you desire to transform your circumstances, alter your imagination. If you want to modify your situations, adjust your assumptions. For the kingdom of heaven is within you. And from this inner kingdom comes the power to recreate your world in the image and likeness of your desires. Now let me provide you with a practical process for applying these principles in your daily life, a step-by-step method for harnessing the creative power of your consciousness, a systematic approach to manifesting your desires through your imagination. The first step is to clarify your desire. What is it that you truly want? What is it that you genuinely desire? What is it that you sincerely wish to experience? Be specific. Be clear. For vague desires lead to vague manifestations. Take the time to contemplate your desire deeply. Ensure that it is something you truly want, not something you think you should want, not something others expect you to want, not something society conditions you to want. Your desire should resonate with your authentic self, align with your true nature, harmonize with genuine being. Also ensure that your desire is for the end, not the means. Focus on what you ultimately want to experience, not on how you think it should come about. For the divine creative power within you, your own wonderful human imagination, knows infinitely more than your conscious mind about the perfect means for manifesting your desire. It has access to infinite intelligence, boundless wisdom, limitless resources. It can orchestrate people, events, and circumstances in ways that your conscious mind cannot even conceive. The second step is to enter a state of relaxation. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably. Close your eyes. Take several deep breaths, inhaling slowly and exhaling completely. Feel the tension leaving your body with each exhalation. Allow your muscles to relax. Let go of all physical discomfort. Now turn your attention to your thoughts. Notice the incessant chatter of your conscious mind. Do not attempt to silence this chatter forcibly. Simply observe it without judgment. Watch your thoughts as they arise and pass away. Do not engage with them. Do not analyze them. Do not resist them. Simply observe them with detached awareness. As you continue this practice, you will notice that the gaps between your thoughts begin to widen. The chatter of your conscious mind begins to subside. A profound stillness begins to envelop you. This is the beginning of divine relaxation. This is the doorway to the kingdom within. The third step is to create a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. This scene should be simple, brief, and easy to visualize. It should represent the end result of your desire, not the process of achieving it. It should be a scene that would naturally occur after your desire has been fulfilled. For example, if your desire is for a promotion at work, you might create a scene in which a colleague is congratulating you on your new position. If your desire is for improved health, you might create a scene in which your doctor is expressing amazement at your perfect health report. If your desire is for harmonious relationship, you might create a scene in which you and your partner are enjoying a moment of deep connection and mutual appreciation. The scene should involve as many senses as possible. See the details of the environment. Hear the sounds in the scene. Feel the emotions and physical sensations associated with the fulfillment of your desire. Smell the aromas present in the scene. Taste whatever is appropriate to the scene. The more senses you involve, the more real the scene becomes to your subconscious mind, and the more effectively it is impressed upon your consciousness. The fourth step is to enter the scene and experience it as if it were happening now. This is not merely visualizing the scene as if watching a movie. It is not simply observing the scene from a distance. It is actually entering the scene and experiencing it from the first-person perspective, as if it were occurring in this very moment.
Have you ever paused to consider the immense power that resides within you? A force so potent it can shape your reality and transform your life in ways you've never imagined. This power, often overlooked and underestimated, is the very essence of your being, your consciousness. Think back to a moment when you felt truly alive, when every fiber of your being vibrated with purpose and energy. What made that moment different? It wasn't external circumstances, but rather your internal state, your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. You see, the world you perceive isn't merely a collection of random events and objects. It's a reflection of your inner state, a mirror showing you the contents of your own mind. Every experience, every interaction, every success or failure is born first in the realm of your consciousness. But how can this be? How can our thoughts and beliefs shape our external reality? The answer lies in understanding the true nature of consciousness itself. It's not just a byproduct of our physical brains, but the very foundation of our existence. To see this. When you close your eyes and imagine a vivid scene, perhaps a beautiful sunset over a tranquil ocean, where does that image exist? It's not in the physical world, yet it's as real to you in that moment as anything you can touch or see with your physical senses. This is the power consciousness at work. Now, extend this concept to your daily life. The thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, the expectations you nurture, all of these are shaping your reality in every moment. They're not just passive observations, but active forces molding your experiences. This realization is the key to unlocking your true potential. Once you understand that your consciousness is the creator of your reality, you gain the power to change anything in your life. No longer are you at the mercy of external circumstances. You become the author of your own story, the sculptor of your own destiny. But with great power comes great responsibility. If your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality, then it becomes crucial to cultivate a mindset aligned with your deepest desires and highest aspirations. This is where the real work begins. Start by observing your thoughts. What kind of internal dialogue do you engage in throughout the day? Are you constantly criticizing yourself, focusing on what's wrong or what you lack? Or do you affirm your strengths, appreciate your blessings, and envision a bright future? Your habitual thoughts form the foundation of your beliefs. And your beliefs, in turn, shape your expectations. These expectations act like a magnet, attracting experiences that confirm them. It's a self-fulfilling cycle that can either lift you to new heights or keep you trapped in limiting patterns. The good news is you have the power to break this cycle at any moment. You can choose new thoughts, cultivate new beliefs, and set new expectations. This is the essence of personal transformation. But it's not enough to simply think positive thoughts occasionally. To truly harness the power within, you must immerse yourself in the feeling of your desired reality. Feel it with every cell of your body as if it's already happened. This is the secret to manifestation, to bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Think of it like this. Your consciousness is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds you plant. Your attention and emotion are the water and sunlight that nourish these seeds. What kind of garden are you cultivating? Is it filled with the vibrant flowers of possibility and growth, or the weeds of doubt and limitation? The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make in every moment. Every time you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, you have the opportunity to plant a new seed. Every time you face a challenge, you have the chance to water the seeds of resilience and growth. This isn't about denying reality or ignoring problems. It's about recognizing that your perception of reality is malleable and that you have the power to shape it. It's about understanding that challenges are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth and transformation. Consider the greatest achievers in history. What set them apart wasn't just their skills or circumstances, but their unshakable belief in their vision. They saw possibilities where others saw limitations. They persisted where others gave up. They tapped into the power within and used it to change the world. You have this same power within you. It's not reserved for a chosen few, but available to anyone who recognizes and cultivates it. The only question is, are you ready to claim it? Awakening to your true potential isn't always comfortable. It requires you to challenge your existing beliefs, to step out of your comfort zone, to face your fears head on, but the rewards are beyond measure. As you align your consciousness to your deepest desires, you'll find that life begins to flow with an ease and grace you never thought possible. Opportunities will appear as if by magic. Challenges will transform into stepping stones. The universe itself will seem to conspire in your favor. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the natural result of aligning your inner world with your outer actions. But remember, this power isn't something you need to acquire or develop. It's already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. You are not separate from this power. You are this power individualized and expressed as a unique human being. This realization is both humbling and empowering. It means that you're not alone in your struggles, not powerless in the face of adversity. You're connected to the very source of all creation, and through this connection, anything is possible. So how do you tap into this power? How do you awaken to your true potential? It starts with a decision to take responsibility for your life, to stop blaming external circumstances, and to recognize your role as the creator of your reality. From this decision flows a new way of being. You begin to watch your thoughts, to catch yourself in old patterns and consciously choose new ones. You start to question your beliefs, especially those that limit you. Are they really true? Or are they just habitual thoughts you've accepted? As you do this inner work, you'll find that your outer world begins to shift. It might start small. A change in how people respond to you. An unexpected opportunity, a moment of profound peace. But as you persist, these changes will compound, creating a momentum that can transform every aspect of your life. This is the power of consciousness in action. It's not about forcing change through sheer willpower, but about aligning your inner state with your desires and allowing the natural laws of the universe to bring them into manifestation. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're tuned to a certain frequency, you can only receive broadcasts on that frequency. Similarly, your consciousness is always tuned to a certain frequency, attracting experiences that match it. By consciously choosing your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations, you're essentially changing the frequency you're broadcasting, and thus changing what you receive from the universe. This understanding revolutionizes how you approach challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, you recognize them as feedback, information about where your consciousness is currently tuned. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to refine your inner state. In this light, the command to get up and keep fighting takes on a new meaning. It's not about struggling against external forces, but about persistently aligning your consciousness with your vision, regardless of temporary setbacks or appearances. The fight is not against the world, but against your own limiting beliefs and habitual thought patterns. It's about getting up every time you fall into old ways of thinking and persistently choosing thoughts and beliefs that empower you. This persistence is key. The power within you is always active, always creating. If you give up at the first sign of difficulty, you're essentially instructing this power to create more experiences of failure and disappointment. But if you persist, holding steady to your vision, even when external evidence seems to contradict it, you allow this power to work miracles in your life. Remember, the external world often lags behind your internal shifts. Just as it takes time for a seed to sprout and grow into a mighty tree, it may take time for your new thoughts and beliefs to fully manifest in your external reality. This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but faith based on understanding the laws of consciousness. As you continue this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, you'll find that your entire perception of life changes. You'll no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as a powerful creator. You'll no longer fear challenges, but welcome them as opportunities for growth. You'll no longer doubt your abilities, but trust in the infinite potential within you. This is the true meaning of awakening to your potential. It's not about becoming something you're not, but about recognizing what you've always been. It's about removing the veils of limiting beliefs and false identities to reveal the powerful creative being that you are at your core. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that the command to get up and keep fighting becomes less about struggle and more about joyful persistence. It becomes a reminder of your true nature, a call to align with your highest self in every moment. So, are you ready to claim the power within you? Are you ready to awaken to your true potential? The journey begins with a single step, a decision to see yourself and your world in a new light. From there, it's a matter of persistent practice, of choosing again and again to align with your highest vision, regardless of appearances. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. The power that created the universe flows through you in every moment. As you align with this power, you'll find strength you never knew you had, wisdom beyond your years, and the ability to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. The power is within you. The choice is yours. Will you answer the call? As we continue our exploration of the power within, we encounter a crucial question. What happens when we face adversity? How do we maintain our connection to this inner power when the world seems to push against us? Adversity. The very word can send shivers down our spine, conjuring images of struggle, pain, and defeat. But what if I told you that adversity is nothing more than an illusion? What if the very challenges that seem to hold you back are actually stepping stones to your greatest achievements? You see, the obstacles we face in life are not external to us. They are not solid, immovable objects blocking our path. Rather, they are projections of our own consciousness, manifestations of our beliefs and expectations. And just as we have the power to create these obstacles, we also have the power to dissolve them. Think about a time when you faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge. Perhaps it was a difficult project at work, a strained relationship, or a personal goal that seemed out of reach. How did you approach it? Did you see it as an immovable object, an unbeatable foe? Or did you recognize it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to prove your own strength and resilience? Your perception of the challenge shaped your experience of it. When you see an obstacle as insurmountable, you've already admitted defeat. You've given your power away to an external circumstance. But when you approach a challenge with the understanding that you have the power to overcome it, you've already taken the first step towards victory. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's about recognizing the true nature of reality. The world you experience is a reflection of your inner state. When you change your inner state, your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations, the outer world must change to match it. This is the law of consciousness in action. So how do we apply this understanding to overcome adversity? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth? Every challenge you face is an invitation to expand your consciousness, to tap into deeper levels of your inner power. It's a chance to prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. When you approach adversity with this mindset, you transform it from an obstacle into an opportunity. But it's not enough to simply understand this intellectually. You must feel it, believe it with every fiber of your being. This is where the art of persistent imagination comes into play. When faced with a challenge, close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself overcoming it. Feel a sense of accomplishment, the surge of confidence that comes with victory. Make this vision so real in your mind that your body responds as if it's already happened. This practice isn't about escaping reality. It's about using your imagination to reshape reality. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and physical ones. By consistently imagining yourself overcoming challenges, you're training your subconscious to expect success, to see obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. As you do this, you'll find that your approach to challenges begins to change. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or defeated, you'll feel a sense of excitement. Each obstacle becomes a chance to prove your power, to demonstrate the strength of your will and the depth of your faith. But what about when things don't go as planned? What about when, despite your best efforts, you face setbacks or failures? This is where true strength is forged. It's easy to believe in your power when everything is going smoothly. The real test comes when you face disappointment or defeat. In these moments, remember that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every setback is feedback, information you can use to refine your approach. When you fall, don't beat yourself up. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow stronger? This resilience, this ability to get up and keep fighting no matter what, is not something you're born with. It's a skill you develop through practice. Each time you face a challenge and persist, you're building a resilience muscle. You're proving to yourself that you have the power to overcome anything like. But persistence doesn't mean stubbornly repeating the same actions and expecting different results. True persistence is about maintaining your vision while being flexible in your approach. If one method doesn't work, try another. If one door closes, look for a window. The key is to keep your focus on your goal, not on the temporary setbacks or obstacles. As you cultivate this mindset, you'll find that the very nature of adversity begins to change. What once seemed like insurmountable obstacles become exciting challenges. What once felt like crushing defeats become valuable lessons. You'll start to welcome adversity, knowing that each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger, to tap into deeper levels of your inner power. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey of continuous growth and self-discovery. There will be times when you slip back into old patterns of thinking, when you feel overwhelmed by challenges. In these moments, be gentle with yourself. Remember that you're not just overcoming external obstacles. You're also overcoming years of conditioning, of limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in your consciousness. The key is to persist, to keep choosing empowering thoughts even when it's difficult. Each time you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern and consciously choose a more empowering perspective, you're rewiring your brain. You're creating new neural pathways that support your growth and success. As you continue this practice, you'll find that your resilience grows. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. Problems that once would have derailed you for days or weeks become minor bumps in the road. This is the power of persistent imagination and unwavering faith. But this journey isn't just about overcoming external challenges. It's also about facing your inner demons, the fears, doubts, and insecurities that hold you back. These internal obstacles can often be more challenging than any external circumstance. They're the voices in your head that tell you you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, that you should give up. Recognizing these inner obstacles is the first step to overcoming them. Pay attention to your self-talk. When you face a challenge, what does your inner voice say? Does it encourage you, remind you of your strength? Or does it criticize you, predict failure? If you find that your inner dialogue is more often negative than positive, don't despair. This is simply a habit, and like any habit, it can be changed. Start by consciously choosing more empowering thought. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause and ask, is this really true? What would I say to a friend in this situation? Over time, as you consistently use more empowering thoughts, you'll find that your default mental state begins to shift. Positivity and resilience become your natural response to challenges. This doesn't mean you'll never have negative thoughts or emotions, but it does mean that you'll have the tools to quickly recognize and redirect these thoughts, preventing them from derailing your progress. As you master this inner game, you'll find that external challenges become easier to handle. You'll approach obstacles with a sense of calm confidence, knowing that you have the inner resources to overcome anything. This is the true meaning of personal power. Not the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them with grace and strength. Remember, every great achievement in history was once considered impossible. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every triumph over adversity began with someone who refused to accept limitations. They didn't have any special powers that you don't have. They simply understood and applied the principles we're discussing here. You have the same power within you. The same force that moves planets and creates galaxies flows through you. When you align yourself with this power, when you truly believe in your ability to overcome any obstacle, you become unstoppable. So the next time you face a challenge, remember this. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a powerful creator, capable of reshaping your reality through the power of your consciousness. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Get up. Keep fighting, not against the world, but for your dreams. Persist in holding your vision and believing in your power, in taking inspired action. As you do, you'll find that the universe itself seems to conspire in your favor. Doors will open. Opportunities will appear. And what once seemed impossible will become your new reality. This is the true nature of overcoming adversity. It's not about struggling against external forces, but about aligning yourself with the infinite power within you. It's about recognizing that you are the author of your own story, the creator of your own destiny. So I ask you, what challenge are you facing right now? How can you reframe it as an opportunity? What would it look like to approach this situation from a place of power rather than fear? As you ponder these questions, remember that the power to overcome any adversity lies within you. It's not something you need to acquire or develop. It's already there waiting to be recognized and expressed. Your job is simply to align with it, to let it flow through you and guide your actions. This alignment is not a one-time event, but a moment-by-moment choice. It's about consistently choosing thoughts and beliefs that empower you, even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. It's about maintaining your vision of success, even when the path to it isn't clear. As you make this choice consistently, you'll find that your ability to overcome adversity grows stronger. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. Obstacles that once would have stopped you in your tracks become mere stepping stones on your path to success. This is the power of persistent imagination and unwavering faith. It's the key to not just overcoming adversity, but to transforming it into fuel for your growth and success. So get up, keep fighting, and watch as the world transforms to match your empowered state of consciousness. As we've explored the power within and learned to overcome adversity, we now turn our attention to a profound truth. You are the architect of your own destiny. This isn't mere motivational rhetoric. It's a fundamental law of consciousness that, once understood and applied, can revolutionize your life. What if I told you that your future isn't some distant, predetermined outcome, but a malleable reality that you're shaping in every moment? What if the key to manifesting your dreams and desires was already within your grasp? The law of assumption states that your outer world is a reflection of your inner assumptions. In other words, what you believe to be true about yourself and the world around you will inevitably manifest in your experience. This isn't about wishful thinking or positive affirmations. It's about a deep, unshakable knowing that permeates every aspect of your being. How often have you achieved something simply because you knew without a shadow of doubt that you could? Conversely, how many times have you failed or given up because deep down you didn't really believe success was possible? Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, are shaping your reality in every moment. But here's the exciting part. You have the power to choose your assumptions. You're not bound by past experiences, current circumstances, or others' opinions. At any moment, you can decide to assume a new state of being, to see yourself and your world in a completely new light. This is where the concept of living from the end comes into play. Instead of struggling and striving to reach your goals, you simply assume the feeling of already having achieved them. You live your life from the perspective of the person who has already manifested their desires. How would you feel if you had already achieved your biggest goal? How would you carry yourself? How would you interact with others? By embodying these feelings and behaviors now, you align your consciousness with your desired reality, setting in motion the forces that will bring it into manifestation. This might sound abstract, but it's surprisingly practical. Let's say your goal is to become financially abundant. Instead of focusing on your current lack of money or the struggle to make ends meet, you would assume the state of someone who is already wealthy. You would feel the security, the freedom, the generosity that comes with financial abundance. You would make decisions from this place of abundance rather than scarcity. As you consistently maintain this state, you'll find that opportunities for increased wealth start to appear in your life. Your actions will naturally align with your assumed state, leading you to make choices that support your goal of financial abundance. But here, just pretend or act as if. You must truly believe, truly feel, truly know that you are already the person you desire to be. This requires a fundamental shift in your self-concept, a willingness to let go of old identities and embrace a new vision of yourself. This process of transformation isn't always easy. It requires courage to let go of familiar patterns and beliefs, even when they no longer serve you. It demands persistence to maintain your new assumption in the face of contradictory evidence. And it calls for faith, not blind faith, but faith grounded in understanding of the laws of consciousness. Faith, in this context, isn't about believing in something despite evidence to the contrary. It's about trusting the unseen laws that govern reality, knowing that what you've planted in consciousness must inevitably bear fruit in the physical world. It's about holding steady to your vision, even when external circumstances haven't yet caught up with your internal shift. This is where many people stumble. They start with enthusiasm, assuming their desired state, but give up when they don't see immediate results. They fail to understand that there's often a time lag between the inner change and its outer manifestation, just as a seed needs time to sprout and grow before it bears fruit. Your assumptions need time to fully manifest in your reality. During this period of transition, it's crucial to persist in your new assumption. Don't be swayed by temporary setbacks or apparent contradictions. Remember, your current circumstances are the result of past assumptions. By maintaining your new state of consciousness, you're creating a new future that will inevitably replace it. This persistence isn't about forcing or struggling. It's about relaxing into your new state of being, trusting that the universe will rearrange itself to match your internal reality. It's about knowing with unshakable certainty that what you've assumed in consciousness must manifest in experience. As you practice this, you'll find that manifestation becomes less about achieving specific outcomes and more about aligning with your true self. You'll discover that your deepest desires aren't for material things or achievements, but for states of being, peace, joy, love, fulfillment. And you'll realize that these states are available to you right now. in this moment, regardless of external circumstances. This is the true power of manifestation. It's not about manipulating the external world to get what you want. It's about transforming your inner world, knowing that the outer must follow suit. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts and experiences the life you desire. But what about when things don't go as planned? What about when, despite your best efforts, your desires seem slow to manifest? This is where the real work begins. It's easy to maintain your assumption when everything is going smoothly. The true test comes when faced with apparent failure or delay. In these moments, resist the temptation to revert to old patterns of thinking. Don't give up on your assumption just because the external world hasn't yet caught up. Instead, see these challenges as opportunities to strengthen your faith, to prove to yourself the power of your assumptions. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Every success story includes chapters of struggle and doubt. The difference is in how they responded to these challenges. Did they give up on their vision, or did they persist in their assumption despite all evidence to the contrary? Your power lies in your ability to choose your response to any situation. No matter what's happening around you, you always have the power to choose your inner self. By consistently choosing to align with your desired reality, you set in motion the forces that will inevitably bring it into manifestation. This process of manifestation isn't just about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you truly are. As you practice living from the end, assuming the state of your fulfilled desires, you'll find that you're not just changing your circumstances, you're transforming yourself. You'll discover strength you didn't know you had, wisdom you didn't realize you possessed. You'll uncover layers of your being that were previously hidden, aspects of yourself that were waiting to be expressed. This journey of self-discovery and self-expression is the true gift of manifestation. As you continue on this path, you'll find that your desires themselves begin to change. What once seemed important may lose its appeal. New aspirations will arise aligned with your evolving sense of self. This is natural and beautiful. It's a sign that you're growing, expanding. The key is to remain flexible, to hold your desires lightly. Don't become so attached to specific outcomes that you miss the beauty of the journey. Trust that your consciousness will guide you towards experiences that serve your highest good, even if they don't match your initial expectations. This trust, this surrender to the wisdom of your higher self, is perhaps the most powerful aspect of manifestation. It's about aligning with the flow of life, cooperating with the universal forces that are always working for your good. It's about recognizing that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it, co-creating your reality in every moment. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that manifestation becomes effortless. Instead of struggling and striving, you'll find yourself naturally drawn towards experiences that align with your assumed state. Opportunities will appear as if by magic. Synchronicities will become commonplace. You'll feel as if the universe itself is conspiring to fulfill your desires. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. As you tap into your ability to shape reality, it becomes crucial to examine your motives. Are your desires aligned with your highest good and the good of all? Are you seeking to express more of your true self? Or are you driven by ego? These are important questions to contemplate. As you continue your journey of manifestation, the more you align with your true self, the more powerful your manifestations will become. And the more your manifestations will serve not just you, but the world around you. This is the ultimate goal of manifestation. Not just to fulfill personal desires, but to express your unique gifts in service of something greater than yourself. As you do this, you'll find that your life takes on new meaning and purpose. You'll experience a deep sense of fulfillment that goes beyond any material success or achievement. Actuality, are you assuming right now? What state of being are you embodying? Are you living from the end, feeling it and acting as if your desires are already fulfilled, or are you still trapped in old patterns of lack and limitation? The choice is yours. In every moment, you have the power to assume a new state, to align with a new reality. This power is your birthright, the essence of your being. By claiming it, by living from it consistently, you become the conscious creator of your life. Remember, manifestation is not about forcing the world to bend to your will. It's about aligning your will with the greater flow of life, trusting that as you express your true self, the universe will support and uplift you in ways you can't even imagine. So get up, keep fighting for your vision. Persist in your assumption of the state of wish fulfilled. Live from the end, knowing that what you planted in consciousness must inevitably bear fruit in your experience. As you do, you'll find that you're not just manifesting your desires. You're manifesting your destiny. This journey of manifestation is ongoing. It's not about reaching a final destination, but about continual growth and expansion. Each desire fulfilled opens the door to new possibilities, new aspects of yourself to explore and embrace this journey with joy and enthusiasm. Trust in the power within you, the same power that creates worlds. Know that as you align with this power, as you express more of your true self, you're contributing to the evolution of consciousness itself. You're powerful beyond measure, capable of shaping reality through the focus of your consciousness. Claim this power, use it wisely, and watch in awe as your life transforms, as your deepest desires manifest, as you become the fullest expression of who you truly are. This is your destiny. This is your birthright. This is the art and science of conscious creation. Now go forth and create the life you've always dreamed of. The power is within you. The time is now. Your destiny awaits.
Imagine for a moment that you are a vessel, a sacred chalice filled with the purest water of life. This water is your creative energy, your dreams, your deepest desires. Now picture yourself walking through a crowded street, this precious chalice in your hands. Would you not guard it carefully? Would you not be mindful of every step, lest a single drop spill and be lost forever? This, my dear friends, is the essence of what I'm about to share with you tonight. God wants you to be silent. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Almighty, the infinite creative power that resides within you desires your silence. But why, you might ask? Why would the Creator of all things, the source of every word ever spoken, wish for your silence? The answer lies in the very nature of creation itself. You see, creation is not a loud, boisterous act. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare and trumpets. No, true creation, the kind that shapes worlds and molds destinies, happens in the quiet depths of your imagination. It's in those silent moments when the world falls away and you're left alone with your thoughts that the seed of your desires takes root. Consider the words of the psalmist, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not merely a suggestion, but a profound instruction on the art of creation. In your stillness, in your silence, you allow the God within you to speak. And when God speaks, worlds come into being. But there's more to this silence than just allowing for divine communion. You have to be careful what you reveal to people. This isn't about being secretive or distrustful. No, it's about understanding the delicate nature of your creative power. You see, every word you speak, every desire you voice, every dream you share, these are all acts of creation. The moment you give voice to a thought, you're releasing it into the world. And once released, it begins to take on a life of its own. It interacts with the thoughts and energies of those around you. Sometimes this interaction can be beneficial, amplifying your desire and bringing it closer to manifestation. But other times, and this is crucial to understand, it can dilute your creative power. Think of it this way: when you plant a seed in the ground, do you immediately dig it up to show everyone? Of course not. You understand that the seed needs time in the darkness, protected from the elements, to germinate and grow strong. Your desires, your dreams, the seeds of creation. They need time in the fertile soil of your imagination, protected from the harsh lights of skepticism and doubt, to take root and grow strong. This is why God wants you to be silent. This silence is not a punishment or a restriction. It's a gift, a sacred space in which your creative power can flourish unimpeded. Now, you might be thinking, but how can I manifest my desires if I don't speak them into existence? This is a common misconception. You see, true manifestation doesn't happen through your words to others. It happens through your inner conversations, through the thoughts and feelings you cultivate within yourself. Remember the biblical principle. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Notice it doesn't say, as a man speaketh with his mouth. The true creative power lies in your heart, in your deepest beliefs and feelings. This is where you need to focus your energy. When you understand this principle, you begin to see why you need to be careful what you reveal to people. Every time you speak of your desires to others, you're exposing these delicate seeds of creation to potential harm. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will support your dreams. And even those who do may inadvertently introduce doubt or limitation into your creative process. This doesn't mean you should never share your dreams or goals. There are times when sharing can be powerful and beneficial. But you must be discerning. You must learn to recognize when silence is the more powerful choice. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, when I first began to understand these truths, I had a deep desire to travel the world and share these teachings. But I was at the time a simple working man with limited means. The logical part of my mind told me this was impossible. The world around me seemed to confirm this limitation. But I understood the power of silence. Instead of speaking about my desire to others, seeking their approval or support, I took it into the silence of my imagination. Night after night, I would lie in my bed and imagine myself standing on stages around the world, sharing these truths with eager listeners. I felt the joy of it, the fulfillment, the sense of purpose. I didn't speak a word of this to anyone. I simply lived it in my imagination, knowing that what I was experiencing internally was more real than any external circumstance. And do you know what happened? Within a year, opportunities began to present themselves. Doors opened that I never could have anticipated. And before I knew it, I found myself traveling the world, just as I had imagined. The seed I had planted in silence had grown into a mighty tree. This, my friends, is the power of silence. This is why God wants you to be silent. In your silence, you're not denying your desires or suppressing your dreams. You're nurturing them, protecting them, allowing them to grow strong before exposing them to the world. Now, let's delve deeper into the concept of being careful what you reveal to people. This isn't about living in fear or constant suspicion. It's about understanding the nature of energy and influence. Every person you interact with carries their own energy, their own beliefs, their own limitations. When you share your dreams and desires with them, you're inviting their energy to mingle with yours. Sometimes this can be incredibly powerful. If you're sharing with someone who truly believes in you and your vision, their belief can amplify your own, accelerating your manifestation. But more often than not, people will project their own limitations onto your dreams. They might not do this maliciously. In fact, they might think they're being helpful, protecting you from disappointment or failure. But in reality, they're introducing doubt and limitation into your creative process. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. When Joseph shared his dreams with his brothers, their reaction was one of jealousy and disbelief. They couldn't see the divine promise in Joseph's visions. Instead, they saw only their own limitations and insecurities reflected back at them, and their reaction nearly derailed Joseph's destiny. This is why you must be careful what you reveal to people. Not everyone is ready to support the vastness of your vision. Not everyone can handle the magnitude of your dreams, and that's okay. It's not their job to believe in your dreams. It's yours. Your dreams, your desires, these are sacred communications between you and the God within you. They're not meant for casual conversation or idle chatter. They're meant to be nurtured in the quiet of your heart, in the stillness of your mind. Think of yourself as a pregnant woman carrying a precious life within her. In those early stages of pregnancy, when the life is just beginning to form, the wise woman is careful about who she tells. She understands the delicate nature of new life. She knows that not everyone will understand or appreciate the miracle growing within her, so she keeps it to herself, nurturing it in silence, protecting it from harmful energies or negative influences. Your dreams are like that unborn child. They're delicate, precious, full of potential. They need your protection, your nurturing, your unwavering belief. And in the early stages, they often need your silence. But let me be clear, this silence is not about deception or secrecy. It's about discernment. It's about understanding the appropriate time and place for sharing. It's about recognizing that not every thought needs to be voiced. Not every desire needs to be announced to the world. In fact, there's incredible power in keeping your dreams to yourself. When you don't reveal your plans to others, you're free from their expectations, their doubts, their limitations. You're able to move in silence to work on your dreams without the pressure of external validation or criticism. Think of the mighty oak tree. It doesn't announce its intentions to grow tall and strong. It doesn't seek permission or validation from the flowers and shrubs around it. It simply grows silently and steadily, reaching for the sky with unwavering determination. You are that oak tree. Your dreams are your branches reaching for the heavens. And the silence? The silence is your roots growing deep and strong, anchoring you firmly in the soil of faith and conviction. Now you might be wondering, but what about the power of positive affirmations? Haven't we been taught to speak our desires into existence? This is a valid question, and it brings us to an important distinction. There is indeed power in the spoken word, but the most powerful words are not those you speak to others. They're the words you speak to yourself in the privacy of your own mind and heart. These are your true affirmations. These are the words that shape your reality. When you understand this, you begin to see why God wants you to be silent. It's not about suppressing your voice. It's about redirecting it inward to where your true creative power resides. Instead of telling others about your dreams, tell yourself. Instead of seeking external validation, give yourself the approval and encouragement you need. Create an inner dialogue that supports and uplifts you. This is the true power of affirmation. Remember the words of Jesus, but when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. This isn't just about prayer in the traditional sense. It's about all forms of communion with the divine within you. It's about those moments when you align your thoughts and feelings with your deepest desires. Your room is your consciousness. The closed door is your ability to shut out the noise and opinions of the outside world. And the unseen Father is the creative power within you, the God that resides in the depths of your being. When you learn to commune with this power in silence, when you learn to nurture your dreams in the quiet of your own consciousness, you tap into a wellspring of creative energy that is truly limitless. But this requires discipline. It requires the strength to hold your tongue when others ask about your plans. It requires the wisdom to discern when to speak and when to remain silent. It requires the faith to trust in the unsayers of creation, even when the outside world demands evidence and proof. This discipline, this silence is not always easy. We live in a world that values constant communication, that encourages us to share every thought and feeling. Social media platforms tempt us to broadcast our every move, our every aspiration. But remember, not everything needs to be shared. Not every thought needs to be tweeted. Not every dream needs to be posted on Instagram. In fact, the most powerful transformations often happen in silence. Think of the caterpillar in its cocoon. If it were to break open the cocoon prematurely to show the world its progress, it would never become a butterfly. The transformation requires darkness, silence, and patience. Your dreams are undergoing a similar transformation. In the silence of your imagination, they're taking shape, growing stronger, preparing to burst forth into reality. But this process cannot be rushed. It cannot be exposed prematurely in the harsh light of public scrutiny. So how do you navigate this? How do you maintain this powerful silence in a world that constantly demands your voice? Here are a few practical tips. First, cultivate a rich inner life. Spend time each day in quiet contemplation, exploring the landscape of your imagination. This is where your true creative work happens. This is where you plant the seeds of your future reality. Second, practice discernment in your speech. Before you speak about your dreams or plans, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this beneficial? Will sharing this amplify my creative power, or will it dilute it? Learn to be comfortable with keeping things to yourself. Third, find alternative ways to process your thoughts and feelings. Instead of talking to others about your dreams, try journaling. Write down your aspirations, your plans, your progress. This allows you to externalize your thoughts without exposing them to potentially harmful influences. Fourth, surround yourself with like-minded individuals who understand the power of silence. These are people who won't constantly pry into your affairs, who respect your need for privacy and introspection. In their presence, you can be silent without feeling pressure to share. Fifth, when you do feel the need to share, be selective. Choose carefully who you confide in. Look for those rare individuals who can hold space for your dreams without imposing their own limitations or doubts. Sixth, learn to redirect conversations. When others ask about your plans or progress, practice the art of giving satisfying yet non-revealing answers. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your internal processes. And finally, trust in the process. Trust that your silence is not inaction, but the most potent form of creation. Trust that in your silence, you're communing with the infinite creative power of the universe. Remember, your silence is not emptiness. It's not a void. Your silence is pregnant with possibility. It's the fertile soil in which the seeds of your desires are taking root. It's the quiet incubator where your dreams are gestating, growing stronger day by day. In your silence, you're not doing nothing. You're doing the most important work of all. You're aligning your inner world with your desires. You're vibrating at the frequency of your dreams. You're becoming in consciousness what you wish to be in reality. This is the true meaning of the phrase, be still and know that I am God. In your stillness, in your silence, you're allowing the God within you, the infinite creative power of the universe, to work unimpeded. You're creating space for miracles to occur. And make no mistake, miracles are occurring. Every moment that you maintain this powerful silence, every moment that you nurture your dreams in the quiet of your imagination, you're setting in motion forces beyond your comprehension. You are activating universal laws that respond not to your words, but to the contents of your consciousness. This is why you must be careful what you reveal to people. Because what you hold in consciousness is far more powerful than what you speak with your lips. Your inner conversations, your deeply held beliefs, your unwavering faith, these are the true creators of your reality. So guard these inner conversations jealously. Protect them from doubt, from negativity, from the well-meaning but limiting beliefs of others. Your mind is the garden in which the flowers of your future are growing. Be selective about what and who you allow into this garden. Now I want to address a concern that might be arising in some of you. You might be thinking, but isn't this selfish? Shouldn't we share our blessing with others? This is a beautiful sentiment, and it comes from a place of generosity. But remember, you cannot give what you do not have. By nurturing your dreams in silence, by allowing them to grow strong before exposing them to the world, you're actually preparing yourself to be of greater service to others. You're ensuring that when you do step out into the world, when you do begin to share your gifts, you're doing so from a place of abundance and strength. Think of it this way. A tree doesn't bear fruit immediately. It takes time to grow strong, to develop deep roots, to reach towards the sky. Only when it has matured does it begin to produce fruit for others to enjoy. You are that tree. Your silence, your careful nurturing of your dreams, is your growing season. The time for bearing fruit, for sharing your abundance with the world, will come. But first you must grow strong. This is not selfishness. This is responsible stewardship of your gifts. This is honoring the divine creative power within you by giving it the space and silence it needs to work its miracles. And let me tell you something remarkable. As you practice this principle, as you learn to be silent and careful with what you reveal, you'll begin to notice a change in how you interact with the world. You'll find yourself becoming more observant, more intuitive. You'll start to recognize the power of silence in others. You'll develop a deeper appreciation for the unspoken, for the subtle energies that flow beneath the surface of everyday interactions. This heightened awareness will serve you well. It will help you navigate the world with greater wisdom and discernment. You'll become adept at recognizing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. This is the true mastery that comes from understanding the power of silence. But perhaps most importantly, you'll discover a deep sense of peace. In a world that often feels chaotic and noisy, your ability to retreat into silence will become your greatest strength. It will be your sanctuary, your place of renewal and inspiration. In this silence, you'll find answers to questions you haven't even thought to ask. You'll uncover depths of creativity you never knew you possessed. You'll tap into reservoirs of strength and resilience that will astound you. In this sacred silence, you'll discover the true nature of your being. You'll realize that you are not separate from the creative power of the universe, but an integral part of it. Your thoughts, your feelings, your deepest desires, these are not just idle fancies, but the very substance of creation. By holding them in the quiet of your heart, by nurturing them in silence, you're allowing them to gather strength and momentum. As you practice this principle of silence and careful revelation, you'll begin to see changes in your external world. Opportunities will arise that align perfectly with your inner vision. People will enter your life who resonate with your unspoken dreams. Circumstances will arrange themselves in ways that support your growth and evolution. This is not coincidence or luck. It's the natural result of aligning your inner world with the creative power of the universe. Remember, your silence is not passivity. It's not resignation or defeat. Your silence is active, potent, filled with the energy of creation. In your silence, you're not doing nothing. You're doing everything. You're communing with the infinite, shaping reality at its most fundamental level. This is the true power that God wants you to understand and embody. So go forth from here with a new appreciation for the power of silence. Guard your dreams carefully. Nurture them in the quiet of your heart. Be discerning about what you reveal to others, understanding that your inner world is sacred and powerful. Trust in the process of silent creation, knowing that what you hold in consciousness will inevitably manifest in your reality. And finally, remember that this practice of silence and careful revelation is not just for your own benefit. As you master this principle, As you learn to create powerfully from the silence of your being, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Your life becomes a testament to the creative power that resides within all of us. In your silence, you speak volumes. In your careful stewardship of your dreams, you teach others the true nature of creation. This is your gift to the world, not just the fruits of your dreams, but the example of how those dreams are nurtured and brought to life.